Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are going to recreate this logo called the 90s. This logo is gonna look like this at the end, and we are going to do this in 4 simple steps. So I went ahead and downloaded this JPEG of the internet. Actually, it's a SVG file. I placed it on my artboard as a template, and let's go ahead and get started now. Create a new layer. You're gonna want to make a square the width of this logo. Make sure it has no fill and no stroke, and make sure it covers the entirety of the logo. Once you have this, go to path, split into grid. I did this previously, so I know by memory that it's 43 by 43, 43 rows, 43 columns. It gives us squares. This gives us essentially our isometric grid. So go ahead and title this isometric grid or grid. And then go ahead and create a copy of this. Title this guides. You can lock this one, turn off the visibility. Go ahead and click on the guides, or you can select them all. Right, so you can click this to select what's inside of that layer, or you can select them all with the selection tool, or you can click Control A. Anyway, once you do this, you can go ahead, once you select them all, go ahead and click Control 5. And this gives us the guides. You can turn off the guides by hitting Control and the semicolon, the one next to the L. So now that we have this, go ahead and take your pen tool, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Make sure it has no stroke. You can go ahead and maybe click the fill to whatever color you want. I like to do black. We're gonna go to this anchor point in the grid, and we're going to this corner anchor point in the grid. We're gonna go 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares, 4 squares. And then we're going back up 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 squares. Turn off the grid so that you can make sure you hit that anchor point of the shape. Go ahead and turn it on again. Zoom in a little bit if you want to. Now, using the pen tool again, click on this anchor point, and we're going 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, right? 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square. You can go ahead and turn off the grid now. Hit that anchor point and hit this anchor point. I don't think I hit it right. There we go. I like to change the colors just so I know that there's no gaps in between. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So, hitting the pen tool again, you can click P as a shortcut. Click this anchor point, and you're going up. Right, so 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square. make sure you stay aligned to this anchor point. Back to this anchor point. And to close it off. Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and change the color. Something a little bit more different. Zoom in, make sure there's no gaps in here. Looks pretty good. Now, that's it. We're practically done. Select all of this. Go to Transform, Reflect. You're going to want to click the vertical and then click Copy. Alright, so that's going to give us this right here. We'll align it right now. We're going to want to make another copy with the one we just did. So Transform, Reflect, and now you're going to click Horizontal. Make sure you click Copy. So now we have the top part. So let's go ahead and turn our grid back on, just so we know that we are aligned. Theoretically, this part right here should connect to this part, right? So we're gonna align that as best as possible. This is a pretty decent job. Don't worry about this yet, we'll take care of that later. Now this part should line up to this corner, should line up to this corner right here. Zoom in a little bit. Go ahead and turn off your guides now. Nice. Right, so we are now in step 3. Now comes the fun part. Hit it over to the put it over to the side so that we can see what we're going to join and what we're going to get rid of using the shape builder tool. Alright, let's get rid of these corners first, the most obvious ones. We can see this part, the inside, alright, is 1. This is 1. For the opposite side, we know that this is 1. We know that this is another part. You can see some weird stuff going on right here. Alright, all you have to do is click the direct selection tool, or letter A. Click on the minus button on your keyboard. Get rid of those extra anchor points. Let's go ahead and change the color so that we don't get mixed up. So we can change this to a yellow. This will stay blue. Let's do this. These white parts are going to be yellow. Oh, we messed up. So this is actually 1 right here. And this is another. Yes. So again, these white parts Could be orange or yellow or whatever you want them to be. And the parts with the stripes are going to be blue. So again, click the direct selection tool, letter A. Get rid of these extra anchor points. Right away we see some weird stuff going on right here. It's okay. We'll fix it. Just get rid of all of these extra anchor points. The less anchor points, the better, the cleaner. None. So let's go ahead and zoom in, see what's going on here. It's just an extra part. No big deal. Now, let's go ahead and start joining stuff. Now we're gonna put stroke on our design. We're gonna make it 2. You see these corners over here? Don't worry about that. We'll take care of that in a little bit. See, there is something weird going on here, and I already see what it is. Looks like there's an extra element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control C. I'm going to delete this extra element, and hit Object or Edit, Paste in Front. It's going to paste it exactly where we left it off. We're going to go ahead and select all, Object, Expand, Fill and Stroke selected, Object, Compound Path, Release, Object, Compound Path, Make. Now we're going to go ahead and delete these extra parts. There we go. Where else? Down here. Oh, something happened right here. Let's see what happened. When I deleted the bottom one, I must have accidentally deleted something else. Oh, there you go. And there we go. Select it all again, and you can click on the Pathfinder and click the Unite. Now we're going to create these strokes on the inside. We used a stroke of 2 for the outline, so we're going to create the lines using the line segment tool, and just create a line. We see that it goes from the inside to the outside. You don't want it to be too close together, because when you zoom out, it starts looking weird. So I suggest maybe, remember, stroke of 2. We can have it a little bit lower. So I went ahead and extended the line with a stroke of 2. I'm going to go to Object, Object, Expand, make it into a compound path, right, and give it a fill of black. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and make a copy of it, give it enough space so that when you see it from a distance, it does not look too crowded. Well, maybe I'll nudge it down a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Let's do the same. Notice how Illustrator right here gives me an exact measurement. Now you can, with this last one selected, go ahead and click Control D. And that should give you a good amount of copies. We probably will not need these last two. I'm going to extend it so that I make sure that it covers this inside part and this outside part, right? So this inside part is covered. This outside part is also covered. Now, right click with these lines selected. Just hit Control G, which will group them. So now we have the letter N and these lines. Hide the lines for now. Make a copy of this letter N. You can lock one and hide it. We're going to go ahead and create a rectangle. Put it a different color. Put it behind that letter N. You're going to need to see both of these. Select both the letter N and the new rectangle. Using the Shape Builder tool, we're going to only need this inside and the outside part. So delete this part. Go ahead and delete this part, delete this part, delete this inside part, delete this square. It's still selected. Click on a new color and make this a new color. Why did I do that? You'll see in a little bit. So now we can get rid of the yellow part and the black part. It leaves us with this shape, and the lines. Make a copy of the lines. Select one of the group of the lines, right? And select one of the objects and hit the crop button. Make sure the lines are behind the objects. There we go. You can hide this temporarily if you want. The new lines, the new object, hit crop. And that gives us the inside and the inside. Remember, we made a copy of the letter N. And here we go. So now we have the inside, and the letter N. The letter N is still locked, right? Make sure this is locked. We're going to go ahead and, if you notice this, right, if I try to fill it with another color, it's going to fill the entirety. So that's because there's shapes in between these black lines. So what we're going to do is, using the magic wand tool, we're going to hit the black, right, and this is going to select only the black from these two layers that are active, not the letter N, right? We can even toggle the visibility, and we're going to hit object, edit, copy, right? So we're copying only the black layer. Now we're going to hit Control A to select all, delete it, and then I just put edit, paste in front. Now group this together, deselect the, toggle the visibility back on, unlock it. Now select all of this and then click on Pathfinder Unite, and that gives us one solid object. Right now, if I try to change the color, the whole thing is going to change. And there we go. Pretty decent recreation. So just to recap, right? First we made a square. We did an isometric grid out of it. We connected some parts. And we have our final product. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.